Okay. Okay, guys, we're recording. Again, my name is Rabbi Menaged. I'm director of Israel XP, and I also teach Halacha here at Bar Ilan. So welcome to Halacha, Advanced Level 2 Halacha, people. Men's edition, snap it up. Welcome, guys. Be'ezrat Hashem, God willing, let our Torah be major koach to the Israeli army, to the Israeli people, to all Jews around the world. The Torah that we should learn, should do big stuff in the Shamayim, and Be'ezrat Hashem, we should do big things. Okay, so welcome, guys. We're gonna give it like another minute or two as people keep joining the class. For those of you that have not yet joined my WhatsApp group for Level 2 Halacha, it should have been posted in the WhatsApp group for the students. So join the group. That way you'll get info and you can ask me questions and like that kind of stuff. So we'll have ourselves a WhatsApp group. So join that WhatsApp group now if you have not yet joined it. Also, for attendance for this class, if you guys can write in the chat now, just your name and last name in the chat, and we'll get you down for attendance right now. So go with that. So welcome, guys. Welcome. Again, my name is Rabbi Menaged. What I'm going to do with you guys now is I'm going to speak a little bit about this class, what my goals are for this class. We're going to go through a bridge version of the syllabus, and then we're going to start talking about the class, but also as maybe speak to you a little bit about general Bar Ilan courses and how things work just in general for those that have questions. Okay, so let's do this. Share screen. Okay, guys. Here we have ourselves syllabus for this class. This is Topics in Halacha Advanced Level 2. Here's the idea of the course. Number one, this is going to be an overview in this class of Halacha. Halacha is, let's ask the question, guys. What does Halacha mean? Unmute yourself, guys. What is Halacha?
Law.
Law. Okay, good. Jewish law. We're going to question that in a couple of minutes. But for now, Halacha is Jewish law. We're a class that's going to speak about halachot, about laws, how to do things. We're going to focus primarily, I have over here Orach Chaim and these different simanim. We're focusing on daily living. From waking up in the morning, then we're going to go through tefillah a little bit, tzitzit, tefillin. We're going to go through some of those Jewish laws. But towards the end of the semester, Be'ezrat Hashem, we're going to talk about barachot, making blessings, a little bit of food laws. Second semester is much more dedicated to food. We're big foodies here at Israel XP, so we're going to talk about food for a while as well. What's the goal? The goal is practical. How to do things right, how to step it up. Baruch Hashem, in the world today, even with all the craziness happening right now, there's been a big surge the last week in Jewish halacha. You know, in my neighborhood alone, the amount of tzitzit tying that has gone on next door that's being sent down to the soldiers. People are just tying more and more to see because the soldiers just want more and more. And how do you wear it? How do you tie it? How do we do these things? So that's part of halacha we're going to get into this semester, Be'ezrat Hashem. Good. We're also going to go through the different range within halacha, within orthodoxy. We'll get into that in a minute as well. Just how does grading work for the course? This is a 1-credit course. There are a couple of other courses that are being offered, not at this time, but like, for example, Rabbi Khan's class, when he was a Professor Tzvi Shimon's class for level 2 parasha, those are 2-credit courses. This course over here is a 1-credit course, which gives us a little bit of flexibility in certain areas. Okay, how do we grade the class? 30% attendance. Now, for the Zoom zone that we're in right now, I've been told by the university that we're going to be a little bit more chill. We're actually have a little bit shorter classes. Class today will be 45 minutes instead of about an hour 15. So we have a little bit shorter classes going on right now. You'll have the ability to watch it later on as well. And somewhere in the middle of each class, I'm going to tell you guys a certain word that I want you to send out to me for those that can't make it on the time. But those that could make it for the time slot, it's much better because I want you guys to ask questions, be involved, and actually learn stuff. 70% of the class comes from the final exam, which we'll do at the end. We'll do a review before that as well. And there's no trick questions, nothing hard in this class. The idea is just the how-to and the whys. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about halacha. So somebody here said the word halacha means Jewish law. Okay, good. Who here went to, let's get a little backgrounds. Who here is from, we're a small group. We're a small group over here. Guys, go around and name and where you're from. Let's start with Joe.
My name is Joe, and I'm from Woodcliff Lake, New Jersey.
Okay, we have Joe, also from New Jersey. Andrew.
I'm Andrew. I'm from Fair Lawn, New Jersey.
Awesome. Okay, little New Jersey crew happening over here. Oz.
My name is Oz, and I'm from Los Angeles, California.
Oz from LA. Awesome. Adam.
My name's Adam. Oh, so
There's like three of us.
you can go first.
Yeah, I'm from Silver Spring, Maryland.
Awesome. Next, Adam. You guys don't have last names now, so it makes it even harder for me. Next, Adam. Next, Adam. Frozen Adams. Okay, fine. Yoni.
My name is Yoni and I'm from Manhattan, New York.
Awesome. Bobby.
My name is Bobby Avrahami. I'm from LA.
Awesome. James.
My name's James and I'm from Englewood, New Jersey.
Awesome. Sam.
Hi, I'm Sam from Los Angeles.
Awesome. Jonah.
My name's Jonah. I'm from San Francisco, California.
Awesome. Benny.
Hi, my name is Benny. I'm from Woodmere, New York.
Awesome. Tommy.
My name's Tommy. I'm from Woodmere, New York.
Awesome. Asher.
My name's Asher from Brooklyn, New York.
Awesome. Avi.
I'm Avi. I'm from Silver Spring, Maryland.
Awesome. Adam. Get the other Adam. Okay. Jacob.
I'm Jacob. I'm from Houston, Texas.
Awesome. Okay, good. So we have a little mix. A lot of East Coast, a little bit of West Coast, a little Texas, a little Maryland. We got a nice little mixes happening over here. Awesome, guys. So welcome. How many of you here, just now show of hands, how many of you here went to Jewish day school? Okay, good. Okay, that's like, okay, good. Awesome. Okay, good. So let's go with an easy question. What does the word Torah mean? Feel free to unmute yourself if you can define what does the word Torah mean. Anybody? Torah. Anybody know what the word Torah means? Nobody? Okay, who went here to like a really good like yeshiva kind of high school where you learned a lot of Torah? Huh? Okay, good. Bobby, you took the bait. What does the word Torah mean?
I mean, I guess it's like a book that Hashem brought down to bring us knowledge.
Okay. A book that Hashem brought down for knowledge. What does the word mean, though? What does the word Torah mean? Any Israelis here? Israelis? Kids of Israelis? People speak Hebrew at home? Grew up with Hebrew at home? Yes, Mishu. Nobody has an Israeli parents? I don't believe it. Oz, your parents aren't Israeli?
No, they are.
Oh, yeah, you don't name a kid Oz if your parents aren't Israeli. Oz! What's the Torah?
I'll be honest with you. I'm a little stuck with this question. I don't really.
Huh?
I
It's a
don't
crazy
have an
concept. Huh?
idea.
You went to Jewish high school, most of you, your whole life. And I'm asking a simple question. What does the word Torah mean? It's like, okay, instructions, books, God, Mount Sinai. Okay, very nice. Let's actually understand, what does the word Torah literally mean? Okay, what's a word that sounds like Torah? Oh, I want to take a step back, guys. We were doing Halacha. And in Halacha, we're going to talk about Sephardi, Ashkenazi, Yemenite. We're going to talk about ultra-Orthodox and modern Orthodox. And there's a lot of different flavors when it comes to Halacha. And we're going to try to do all of that. In pronunciation, there's different ways as well. In general, I will pronounce a little bit more Sephardic style. My father, Allah Shalom, was born in Syria. My mother was born in Poland. So actually, I'm a nice little mix. I'm what's called a hetzi. I'm a half-half. So I come from both areas and I can pronounce both ways. So if you don't feel comfortable with me saying Torah, I can say Torah. I can say Sora. Whatever makes you feel good. We can pronounce it any way that you like. But if I say any Hebrew words and you have no idea what I'm saying, you don't have to know Hebrew. Even though this is an advanced class, so I expect you guys to know a little bit of Hebrew, and I expect you to know that Yitzchak is Isaac. But if you don't, that's okay. And you can tell me, I don't know that Abraham is Avraham. What is Abraham? So if I ever say any words and you have no idea what I'm saying, be like, "Allo, Rabbi, I don't know what you're saying. Translate that word." That you can definitely do that. But now let's start with the basics. What is Torah? Okay. If you come to Bar Ilan University, B'ezrat Hashem, you're going to get to Israel soon. B'ezrat Hashem, we're going to get you in here as soon as we feel like it's safe. We're going to get you all in here. We're going to have our courses this semester in person. We're going to hang out. We're going to do our trips. And I do want to just say one thing about that I've been speaking a lot with Mayor, who prepares all of our trips and stuff. We are planning for the days that we're missing in person right now. to be doing some kind of extensions and additions. So we're gonna have a lot more trips out there. We're trying to get the classes in right now, so that way when you guys get here and it's safe here, we can actually go out there and explore and have fun and really enjoy Israel. So realize that we're planning to make up in trips and in doing things and maybe some overnights and really experiencing Israel when you guys get here. Okay, when you get here, B'ezrat Hashem, we're gonna go to Bar Ilan University, and we're gonna walk into university, and you're gonna see a word that's written all over the university. And the word for now we'll see if Oz has this one. We have a word that's written all over the university that's called Hora'ah. You know what Hora'ah means? Hora'ah. Anyone know what the word means? Hora'ah. You can unmute yourself if you know what it means. Yeah, Oz.
Guidance.
Guidance. Good. Hora'ah means guidance. It means instruction. It really means teaching. The word Torah comes from the language of teaching. Who is a teacher? How do you say teacher in Hebrew?
More.
More, mora. Those that have mora, morot, you have more, growing up. Teacher. Torah is the language of teachings. It's instructions. It's the teachings of God. That God, now here's everything else that you guys said and everything you guys know inherently, that God came down, gave us a book, it spoke to us and all that stuff. But what is the Torah at its base? It's instructions for life. It's teachings for life. That's what Torah is. It's the teachings that God gave us to be the greatest people possible. Now, what kind of teachings are in the Torah? What kind of teachings are there? What does God teach us? Huh? What does God teach us?
Morality.
Morality, good. We have morality, we have ethics. You got what's the most famous book of ethics?
Pirkei Avot.
Pirkei Avot, Ethics of the Fathers. The most commentated book in the Torah. I mean, the most commentated book. If somebody wants to ever write a commentary on something, whether you're a rabbi or not, what is the number one book you write a commentary on? Anybody know? Anybody here wants to write a Torah commentary? What's the first book, the most popular book you may write a commentary on? Okay, hardcore. Haggadah. It's the Haggadah for Pesach. It's the number one book people write Haggadah. Everybody feels they can relate it to their life or something like that. The number two book that people write a commentary to, statistically speaking, is Pirkei Avot, is ethics. Anybody know why it's called Pirkei Avot? Ethics of the Fathers. Who are the fathers? Huh? Any ideas? Why is it called Pirkei Avot?
Maybe they're like core values.
They're core values. Oh, there is ideas. Yes. Fathers might be core. Exactly. Primary. Excellent, Adam. Excellent. Good. That's one approach. Another idea. Why is it called Pirkei Avot? So the Me'am Lo'ez writes that it's called Pirkei Avot because Avot refers to our forefathers. Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. He says, if you read the book of Bereshit very closely, get that magnifying glass out there and really learn from their actions in those stories, all those ethics that we have are going to come out of there. This is the first book of the Torah that we just started this past Shabbat. That's the book. We get our ethics. Okay, so number one, we get ethics in the Torah. Excellent. Ethics, morality, how to be good people. Good. What else? What else? Huh? What else do we get from the Torah?
Laws.
Laws. Halachot. We have Jewish laws, rules. We have rules from when we wake up in the morning to when we're going to go to sleep at night. We have from the most mundane of how we put on our shoes to the most esoteric. Guys, what is a fancy English word? What does esoteric mean? Esoteric? Who speaks English? Any Americans here?
Like
Oh,
complicated.
Complicated. Okay, good. A little bit better than that. A little bit better than complicated. Esoteric could be complicated. Doesn't have to be. A lot of times it is. Esoteric means? Esoteric, yeah, Jonah?
Isn't it like a topic or something that only like a certain number of people, like with a high enough like capability of like knowledge can like understand?
Okay, good. B'ezrat Hashem, God willing, we're going to get to some of those levels this year too. So hopefully we could be somewhat in those levels as well. But esoteric means deep. It means mystical, Kabbalistic, secrets of the Torah, secrets of the world. The Torah has everything from the very beginning till from the most simplistic to the most deep, from laws to ethics to philosophy, theology. But we should know, and we're going to see in Halacha pretty soon, that even the esoteric, even the deep and the secret stuff, you're talking about something, there's an idea that a person should be 40 years old till he learns the deeper stuff you might have heard and be accomplished everywhere else. That's an idea that came about because young people were studying and went crazy. It's not a clear law, but it makes a lot of sense because as we're going to learn a little bit deep stuff this year, you're going to start to realize like, oh my God, if I go too much into this, I might go crazy myself. And you're going to realize where it's coming from. If you don't know what I'm talking about, that means you haven't learned deep stuff yet. Because the second you start to learn deep stuff, you start to say, oh my God, that's pretty crazy. I don't want to get crazy. But there are deep ideas, but we're going to see that these deep esoteric ideas are going to affect halacha as well. So this class is primarily a how-to. How do we wake up in the morning? What blessings do we say? How do we put on our tzitzit, our tefillin? How do we pray in the morning? What do we say? It's going to be a lot of how-to. But we're going to see the how-to itself is going to be shaped from the more simplistic to the more deep part of the Torah. Okay, let's back it up. Torah means teachings. Torah is also known as Torat Hayim. It's the teachings of life. Etz Hayim l'machazikin bas, the tree of life for those who grab onto it. We spoke in last week's parasha Bereshit. Adam and Eve, they sit with the tree of knowledge, Etz Hadat. But what should they have jumped on? They should have jumped to the Etz Hayim, the tree of life. What is the tree of life? Symbolically, the tree of life is Torah. Torah is our life force. It's what we're all about. It's how we live. The Torah is known as Torat Hayim. It's the instruction book. It's the manual for how to live from the most basic to the most esoteric. Okay. Let's get back to halacha. What's the root of the word halacha? The root, shorashim, it's level 2. There's the word shorash. We have a 3-letter root in every single word. What's the root of the word halacha? We said it means Jewish laws, but the root doesn't seem to fit that way. What is the root of the word halacha?
Halach, like walk.
Halach, to walk. Good. What does walking have to do with halacha? Holech, easy word in Hebrew. Holech, holech. Ulpan level 1. Holech, holech. We got to walk. What does that have to do with laws?
You walk in the way of God.
Oh, good. It's the path of life. It's the walkway of life. It's the way we want to walk. We want to walk is symbolic that we're on a journey in life and we make choices. And those choices are splits in the road. And which way are we walking? Okay, let's do a hard Hebrew word. We're going to do a harder Hebrew word. And for those who couldn't make it to this Zoom lecture because the timing didn't work, this is the word that I want you to send to me on WhatsApp in a private message if you're listening to us on a recording. We have the word in Hebrew called hashkafa. So send me that word if you're listening on a recording. Hashkafa, hard Hebrew word. What is the word? If you're Ashkenazi, hashkofe. What does hashkafa mean?
Like a reflection?
Huh?
Reflection?
Reflection? No, not reflection.
Worldview.
Worldview. Excellent. Hashkafa means worldview. It means theology. It's your religious philosophy. It's your view of life. What's the word of the root of the word hashkafa? Lashkif. What is lashkif? Any heard of lashkif? Hard Hebrew word. Oh, do you have lashkif? What's a lashkif?
To make clear, like to make it. I know like
Shakuf. No, you're good. The word
shakuf is to be clear,
is very
right?
good. Clear through the glass. Okay, very good. It's related. It has to do with seeing. Lashkif means to see. Hashem is mashkif mina harakim. Hashem looks at us from above, looks down, glances down upon us. Lashkif is to look. It's our view. In life, we have two parts. When we move in life and we do things, we make choices. What makes man so great? What was the miracle of creation? It's that God took a physical being, added a spiritual soul to us, and gave us free will. We can make choices. Before we make choices, there's two things that are taking place. We're making the choice. We're doing the halacha. We're walking in life, but as we're walking, we also have hashkafa. We have our worldview, our viewpoint, and our hashkafa could affect how we're walking. For example, when you're walking, are you looking very closely where your next step is because you're worried you're going to fall and trip? Are you looking at the bigger picture? Are you looking at the heavens, at the clouds? Are you looking at the beautiful colors of the trees and the flowers? When we approach halacha, when we approach doing the will of God, the question now is, how are we doing it? You're going to find some people that are very, 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 very strict. Their neshama, they love being strict. You're going to find amongst our friends over here, a bunch of people are going to be very strict. They don't want to trip and fall. So they're looking, their hashkafa, their viewpoint is, what is the next step? How do I do it right? I can't mess up. I got to be extra strict. Maybe I should make an offense upon myself. I'm too scared. And a little bit of ultra orthodoxy comes from there, and a little bit of, but you're going to see it's more of a personality trait. You have certain people that are very careful. It's exact. That's one kind of hashkafa. You have another person that, you know what, I'm okay. I've done this enough times already. I'm not going to fall. I'm going to be okay. But instead, they're focusing on the heavens. They're focusing on God. They're a little more spiritual kind of people. What's the deeper meaning behind what I'm doing? And sometimes they might even be a little bit more easygoing when it comes to the rules because they're so focused on the spiritual. They're so much in the clouds that they're forgetting, and they are tripping a little bit because they're looking up. And other people are somewhere in the middle. You're going to find that when people approach halacha, and we're going to, okay, what are we going to do in this class? In Judaism today, we know there's different sects. Those of you out there in America right now, so you're going to have yourself the big group. We have the Orthodox, the Conservative, the Reformed, a little Reconstructionist. Chabad is somewhere, I put them in the Orthodox category, but they're a little Hasidic as well. And they have an interesting crowd that's coming that's more mixed. But you have different approaches to those rules. In this class, we're going to focus on Orthodox halacha, which basically means we're going to accept that God gave us the Torah, and we're going to accept that it's binding on every single one of us after Bar Mitzvah. That's what we're doing right now. That's the basic. But within Orthodoxy, we're going to go from the most left to the most right. Sephardic people in the classroom, raise your hands. If you're Sephardic, raise your hand right now. If you're Ashkenazi, raise your hand. If you're mixed, raise your hand. Yemenites, raise your hand. If Chabadnikim, raise your hand. We have all these LA people. Nobody's Chabad from LA over here? Chabad friendly? A little bit, no? Okay, fine. Fine. So, but there is a mix. We're going to go in this class and try to go through all those halachot. From the Sephardi to the Ashkenazi, from the ultra-Orthodox to the modern Orthodox, Hasidic ideas as well. We're going to try to see how it all fits into the halachic system and into the different rules behind it. Since this is a level 2 class, I'm going to go a little bit, no problem. Since it's a level 2 class, we're going to go in a little bit more into detail from where the halacha came from and from where the differences in the halacha came from. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to share in a second. I wrote my own notes in English for the rules that I want to cover. Today, the first part of the notebook is the intro. I'm going to post it on the WhatsApp group. If you haven't joined the WhatsApp group yet, join the WhatsApp group. If you choose to switch to level 1 after this, that's fine. And just get on my other WhatsApp group, but it's the same booklet for both. In the booklet, I have the main notes on top and the footnotes down on the bottom. For level 2, I'm going to go into a little bit more footnotes, although I'm never going to question you on actual names and books unless I tell you that I'm going to, which I'm not really going to do. So the idea more is just to get into a little bit deeper because it's a level 2 advanced class into where the halachot came from. Okay, so I'm going to share screen right now with you guys, my notes, and I'm going to post it on the WhatsApp group. If you haven't joined it again, join the WhatsApp group. Okay. Oh, this is such. That's so. Sorry. Let's join. Let's get. Okay. Okay, so we spoke. We spoke a little bit about Torah. We spoke a little bit about halacha and about hashkafa. Good. We spoke about the how-tos. Now let's talk a little bit about halacha itself. History of halacha. Let's stop here. Let's talk outside a little bit. Jewish law. When did Jewish law start?
When we got the Torah.
When we got the Torah, good. Mount Sinai. What was Mount Sinai? God speaks to the whole Jewish people, men, women, and children. God speaks to everyone, says, Alo, I am the Lord your God. I exist. Hi, people. It's the greatest event in human history and world history. Shtabach Shem Ola'ad. God comes out there and says, hi, I exist. I am here. Awesome. Was there a Torah before that? Huh? Was there a Torah before God came on Mount Sinai? Let's ask it a little bit differently. Who was the first Jew? First Jew.
Avram.
Avram, beautiful. Avram was the first Jew. Avram and Sarah. Let's bring the women in here. Let's be a little bit feminist here as well. We have Avram and Sarah, the first Jewish couple. Our Avram Avinu, Sarah Imenu. We have our Abba, we have our Ima. We call them the first Jews. Were they halachic Jews? Let's get some thumbs out. Huh? Were they halachic Jews? Huh? Yoni says, yeah. What makes a Jew today? Joe says, no. What makes a Jew today? If I want to be Jewish today, what makes me Jewish? There's 2 ways somebody can be Jewish today. What are the 2 ways? James, how can you be Jewish today?
Your mother being Jewish?
Okay, number 1, your mother being Jewish. Excellent. Okay. Way number 1, if your mother was Jewish, you're Jewish. Awesome. Okay. Was Avram's mother Jewish? No. Okay, okay, good. So Avram's mother wasn't Jewish. Joe?
Following the Torah.
following the Torah. So if a non-Jew today says I follow the Torah, they're Jewish?
Well, no, but you also have to have your mother being Jewish.
You also have their mother being Jewish. Okay, but if someone's mother is not Jewish, is there a way they can convert and be Jewish? Jonah,
I was gonna say you can convert.
how do you convert?
I
How do you
mean,
convert
it
people?
depends. You
Bring
can
it up.
convert. It's a long process, but
Long process. Okay. A good process is about 2 years. Not that long. Okay. It's a good process, about 2 years. A week process, you can probably do it a quickie one in about a month to 6 months. 6 months to 6 months, probably the minimum. If you already have a little bit of a background, if one parent's already Jewish, if the father's already Jewish, you could probably do a quickie in 6 months if you have basic halacha. Okay. But what do you have to do to convert? Bobby.
Bring me that.
Brit Milah, beautiful for the men out there. We don't do this to women. We don't have female mutilation over here. That's not happening. But for the men, what do the men got to do? You got to take a little snip. Keepthetips.com. You got to do a little snip over here. You got to do a circumcision, a Brit Milah. Excellent. Okay. Number 1 is a Brit. Number 2, it's not enough. How does a girl convert? And how does a guy convert after the Brit? 2 more things. Yoni, I can't hear you. Yoni, how do you convert?
You gotta go through a long process.
No, what do you do in the process? What's the process? There's 2 more things you got to do. 2
You
more things.
gotta have a Brit.
Brit, we said that's 1. Number 2, James.
You have to go in the mikvah.
Mikvah, good. You got to dip yourself in the mikvah. Good. That's number 2. Last thing you got to do, and this is what the whole process is really all about, is what's called Kabbalat Ol Mitzvot. You have to accept the mitzvahs. You have to accept the Torah. You have to say, I am going to be committed to keeping Jewish law. You do those 3 things. You say, snip it, dip in the mikvah, and then say, I'm going to accept the Torah, and then you can become a Jew. And what the court does is they just make sure that happens. They make sure the Brit Milah happened. They make sure you dip in the mikvah. They even watch, and it's actually and then they're going to ask you questions. And the questions are, if you're prepared, do you know how to keep Shabbat? Do you know how to keep the holidays? Do you know how to keep kosher? Those are the questions they're going to be asking just to make sure people know how to do it. Now, how many Jews today couldn't answer those questions? That's pretty scary. But that's just the basic idea of what takes place in the courts. So let's get back to Avraham. Was Avraham a Jew? His mother wasn't. Was Avraham a Jew? So let's think about it. Brit Milah. He actually does it. He does it at 99 years old. That might have made him a Jew. That might have been the conversion process. Where's the mikvah? Did he dip? Did he not dip? The Hasidim will tell you in the Torah. They'll find hints to mikvahs all throughout the Torah, but it's not so clear that he went to the mikvah. But he did do a circumcision, and God did speak to him and say, "You're going to be the father of people." That kind of sounds like God's making him the first Jew. Did he accept the Torah? Now that Avraham, let's accept that Avraham is a Jew. I'm still not convinced that Avraham is a legal Jew, a halachic Jew. But he is a spiritual Jew, and he's a neshama Jew, because God picked him. Genetically, he's a Jew. And so is Sarah Imenu. So that would make Yitzchak a Jew. Now, Avram had a different kid. What was Avram's other son name? Yeah, Joe.
Ishmael,
Ishmael. Who was Ishmael's mother?
Hagar?
Hagar. Was Hagar Jewish?
No.
Probably not, although her name Hagar does sound like Hagar, the convert. That's a side point beyond the scope of today. But Hagar, on the simple level, was not a Jew, and therefore Ishmael, who is the father of the Arabs, the father of the Muslims today, they are not Jews. Okay. But let's make a more complicated question. Yitzchak gets married. Who's Yitzchak marry? Yitzchak marries Isaac. Who does he marry?
Rivka.
Huh?
Rivka.
Rivka, beautiful, Avi. Good. Is Rivka Jewish? So however Jewish Avram was and Sarah and Yitzchak were, Rivka is just as Jewish. So she's going to convert or do whatever she does to be in their category because we call her Rivka Imenu. Now Rivka and Yitzchak have kids, but they have more than one kid. They have 2 kids. Who are the 2 kids? We have Yaakov. That's where we come from. Jacob, also known as Yisrael. That's where Israel. That's where our whole country's name comes from. And they have a second kid. What's the other kid's name? Joe.
Esav.
Esav, Tommy, excellent. We have Esav. Tommy, was Esav Jewish?
Sorry, what?
Was Esav Jewish?
Yes.
Why is Esav Jewish?
Because his mother was Jewish.
His mother was Jewish. Does he act Jewish?
No.
Not so much. So he's a non-observant Jew.
Yeah.
Non-observant Jew? Bad Jew, maybe we'd say, because he wants to kill us also? Or is he a non-Jew?
No, he's still he's still a Jew.
He's still a Jew. You're saying he's still a Jew. His mother is Jewish, and Halacha tells me he goes by the mother. So therefore, you're saying that because his mother is Jewish, he's Jewish. Not so clear.
Yes.
Not so clear in Halacha. Because it's not so clear that Halacha started before Mount Sinai. It's not so clear. You'll have many that are going to say that until Mount Sinai, things were a little bit more optional. Let's get things more complicated. Yaakov, Jacob, we like Jacob. Jacob's a nice Jew, right? Good Jewish name. Yaakov, who does he marry? Who does Yaakov marry? Oh, who does he marry?
Rachel and Leah.
Rachel, Leah, he had two more. Bilhah, Zilpah. Is that okay? Can you take 4 wives?
I don't remember that last two.
Does Halacha allow it? Can you take 4 wives in Halacha?
No, but back then you didn't matter.
No.
'Cause little
So modern day Halacha, for the most part, says no. The Ashkenazim made a gzera against it already over 1,000 years ago. The Svaradim, for a while, didn't. The Syrians kind of did. It's part of their ketubah. In my Syrian ketubah, there's a whole rule that I can't take a second wife if my wife gives me kids. Yemenites, though, they didn't accept this halacha until they made aliyah to Israel after the founding of the state, after 1948. When they came to Israel, the early Yemenites came with 2 wives. Nobody had 4 wives. That's crazy. You can't afford that. That's crazy. So many wives. That's insane. But the Yemenites were still doing it until about 1940, till about 1950 something. But for the most part today, we don't take more than 1 wife. But it's not against halacha by Ashkenazim. It is against halacha today by Sfaradim. It's more complicated. But today, we don't take more than 1 wife. Halacha would allow it. So Yaakov Avinu was not breaking halacha when he had 4 wives. But Yaakov didn't do one thing that's a little bit more problematic. Because 2 of those wives, what do we know about 2 of those wives? What do we know about Rachel and Leah?
They were sisters.
They were sisters. Are you allowed to marry sisters in halacha? So how could Yaakov do that? How could he do that? Anybody ever heard that question? Anybody heard an answer to that question? How could Yaakov marry 2 sisters?
Well, did halacha really exist at that point?
Exactly. So one answer is, did halacha really exist? They were Jews because God called. Okay, first, Jews is funny. They were Israelites, but they were like what we call today Jews. But they weren't halachic Jews necessarily because there wasn't halacha yet. There were some halachot because God did speak to Abraham and say, circumcise your kid at 8 days old. So they were doing circumcision. There are some other laws along the way that are going to take place throughout the Torah before Mount Sinai. The Jewish people are going to learn about Pesach before they get to Mount Sinai. So we're going to have a couple of laws along the way over those couple hundred years. But to say they had halacha or they had binding halacha, not so clear. That being said, you're going to find commentators that are going to write that they tried their best to keep halacha, that there was some kind of mystical halacha. There was some kind of secret Torah that did exist before the giving of the Torah. Actually, if you want to get deep, should we get deep for 1 second? People like deep or like simple? If you guys like deep, give me a thumbs up. If you like simple, give me a hand like that. Okay, good. So we'll do both. We have about a half-half over here. Fine, we'll do a half-half. So we'll do both. We started the Torah last week with Parashat Bereshit. Bereshit means Hashem created the world. The famous question: why does God start Bereshit with the letter Bet, with instead of an aleph? Start with a Bet. John, you know the answer?
Yeah, because that's the same reason why if you open a siddur, nothing ever starts on page 1, because Judaism and it's never going to have a beginning and an end, because if something has a beginning, it has to have an end, and we never want to have an end.
Okay, good. I like it. I like it. Also, when I did the Torah never has an end. I like that line of thinking. Good stuff. We never end. Beautiful. There's a different idea. There's a mystical teaching. The mystical teaching is that the Aleph, that goes to the first of the 10 commandments of Anochi Hashem. I am the Lord your God. The Torah that God actually gives us at Mount Sinai, that starts with an Aleph. But the world didn't start with Torah. It's going to take time till the Torah comes along. And the mystical idea, the Zohar writes that the Torah actually existed 2,000 years before the creation of the world. Why do we have a bet for Bereshit? Because the bet symbolizes we got to go back 2,000, 2 aleph, 2 elephs. We got to go back 2,000 years pre the world. Now, this is not meant to be literal. We take it literal, you don't understand Kabbalah, because literal doesn't work that way, because there wasn't a sun and a moon yet, so it can't be literal. But if we go back mystically 2,000 years, there was some kind of concept of a mystical Torah that existed, and that came into the world somehow through Adam, somehow through Noah, and then Avram, Yitzhak, they're going to have some versions of it, but it's not going to be binding like it was at Mount Sinai. Mount Sinai, that's when we have the rules of halacha, and now all the rules of the mother has to be Jewish and halacha, all of that will exist. I actually have 2 volumes in my over here, my bookshelf over there in the back. I have 2 volumes in my house that just discuss the forefathers and halacha, and every place where it's a question, how could they do what they did if they had some kind of a Torah? For those that like that kind of stuff, it's fun stuff to read, but it's not binding, because the binding Torah only happens at Mount Sinai. Okay, guys, what happened at Mount Sinai? What happened at Mount Sinai? Joe, what happened at Mount Sinai?
We got the Torah,
The Torah. Who? Who's we?
the Jewish people.
What? How did we get it?
Because of Moshe when he went up for 40
The
years.
Moshe went up. He learned some stuff. He came down. He wrote some stuff down. We'll speak probably next week. What did he write down and how did he write it down? Okay. But what did we hear at Mount Sinai? We heard something too.
Hashem talking to us.
Hashem spoke to us. What did Hashem tell us?
The 10 Commandments.
10 Commandments. 10 Commandments. Everybody agree? Everybody agree? It's actually a machloket. It's an argument in the Gemara. Did God give us all 10 Commandments at Mount Sinai? Or did God only give us 2? Anybody ever heard that God only gave us 2 commandments? Raise your hand if you ever heard that before. Okay, Avi heard that? You heard that? Okay, Andrew heard that? A couple of you heard that? You ever heard any? Okay, this is something a little bit more popular. Did anybody ever hear the Midrash that says that God started speaking to us at Mount Sinai and we died because it was such an out-of-body experience we couldn't survive, and God had to revive us? Now, you guys are 18 right now. You no longer have to take all these Midrashim literally. If you want to take it as symbolic, like it was so overwhelming, you could learn it that way also. Those are a little bit more Hasidic. You might want to take it more literally. But however you want to learn it, you can learn it. But we had like this out-of-body experience that was so great that says the Midrash, after the 2nd commandment, we said, God, Alo, Hajj, too much for me. I can't handle this. It's too much. I can't handle so much Torah directly from God. Moses, Moshe, can you teach us the rest? So according to this approach, we only learn 2. The 1st commandment of I'm the Lord your God, and the 2nd commandment, you should have no other gods. Now, people learn in that, philosophically, that the 1st commandment of knowing this God equals all the positive commandments. The 2nd commandment has all the negative commandments in it. So there's different ways to learn that out. But according to the standard opinion in the Gemara, we only heard 2 commandments at Mount Sinai. How many commandments do we have in general? How many commandments? How many Torah commandments?
613.
613. Now, very important, it's 613 categories of commandments. It's much larger than that. Because in one of the laws is set up a court system. Setting up a court system is going to be hundreds of laws underneath that. The Rambam in his Mishnah Torah or Sefer Mitzvot will go through his version of the 613, but they're categories, and you have much more little nuances in those categories. That's the biblical laws. We have 613. The rabbis will come along. They'll make some fences. They'll create new laws to create a vibe. A lot of positive commandments the rabbis created was to create a more Jewish vibe. A lot of our Shabbat laws are just about the vibe that was created. Like, instead of just making Kiddush on words, let's make it on a cup of wine. Let's have some challah. So that's a little bit of a vibe creation. We also have minhagim. We have customs that we have. So the Torah has grown to hundreds of thousands of laws. But 613 is the base categories. God taught us 2. If God taught us 2, who's good at math over here? It's not calculus. 613 minus 2, what do we get? 611. 611. So 611 laws were taught to us by Moshe, and 2 laws were taught to us by God. How do we symbolically say 611? Anybody know? What Hebrew word? We'll do a little gematria. Those that are rationalists and don't like numerology, gematria, don't worry, that's not the majority of this class. Those that like gematria, have a little bit more of that inside of you, you're going to enjoy this. What is 611 in Torah letters? Anybody know? Aleph is 1, Bet is 2. What word in Hebrew is 611?
Is it Teva? Oh no, yeah.
No, tell us with a tet. Guys, when you hear this, it's so wild because it's something you've known your whole life. You didn't realize you've known it your whole life.
Torah.
Torah. Torah is 611. And that's why one of the very first things we teach our kids when they're born is we teach them Torah, 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 Tziva Lanu, Moshe. Moshe taught us the Torah. What's the Torah? The 611 laws that Moshe taught us with the 2 laws that God gave us at Mount Sinai, that makes 613. It's the simple remez, the simple hint that we already start teaching you guys, teaching ourselves when we're little kids, and we live with our whole lives. Torah Tziva Lanu Moshe, that's the beginning of the rules, the beginning of the laws. Okay, Bezrat Hashem, next week or in 2 weeks or whenever, hopefully in person, whenever the next in-person class is, or the next Zoom, whenever the next class is, we're going to go into a little bit more depth into how we get to the rules, the rule books that we have today, and how we're going to get into our actual class of laws. But just in general right now, realize the base of Jewish legality is going to start at Mount Sinai. You guys have been awesome. And if you haven't joined the WhatsApp group, join the WhatsApp group. And if you haven't written your name in the chat yet, write your name in the chat right now for attendance. And thank you guys. Any questions, any concerns, anything you guys want to speak to me afterwards? The official class is over now. If you have any questions about anything, please. Awesome. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi.